Do you ever hear a Chris Lorenzo track and think, how does his low end sound so punchy while it sounds still full? And it's not just the sound, it's the swing, it's the bounce, and the way the bass and drums talk to each other. And honestly, there are a few production tricks that Lorenzo uses on the fly that goes under most producers' radar. And today I'm going to show you how it's exactly done. So in this video, we're diving into Chris Lorenzo's bassline, from the shuffle groove to the gritty sound design and to the processing that gives it a club-ready weight. So of course, we're going to build it completely from scratch using the sounds from our new sample pack Takeoff, packed with punchy one-shots, rolling bass loops, and MIDI files built for this exact type of sound. So let's jump into the tutorial. So this is what the project sounds like without any bassline. So right now we just have the drums, no bassline yet, but this gives us a clear foundation to build the bass energy. So for this project, we're going to use Serum 2. So first, let's load it in. So now let's create the bassline. So this is what the bassline sounds like without any sound design. Now let's move on to the sound design. So we're going to use Serum 2, and let's of course run oscillator A and change the wavetable into basic shapes and just leave it at sine wave. Now let's turn down the octave to -3 octaves, and this is what it sounds like. Very deep, yet still not very punchy. So let's continue. So let's turn on oscillator B and set it as well as basic shapes, but let's change the wavetable position to number 5. Now let's set it to -3 octaves and listen to what it sounds like. Very gritty, but not yet close. Now let's move on to envelope 1. So the only thing we need to change is the sustain, make it more curved. Now, every time you play the note, it's going to sound like this. Now let's move on to filtering. Turn on filter and link oscillator B to the filter. Now we need to use MG low 18. We can do that by going here, or we could just click this one arrow. So now let's set a cutoff frequency to around 50 Hz. And let's link envelope 1 to the cutoff filter to around 25%. Now let's listen to what it sounds like. Let's move on to the matrix tab. Let's get the source from LFO1 and let's set the destination of it to the main tuning. And let's set this to around 10%. So the reason why we did this is to add processing to boost the attack and punch of the bassline. So of course, we need to shape LFO1. Let's head to LFO1, copy the same graph as mine, and set it to envelope. So every time the note is played, it's going to play the LFO1. Now let's set the rate to Hertz and change it to around 18.5. And this is what it sounds like with matrix on. Now lastly, let's add effects. So the first effect we're going to need is the distortion. The next would be the compressor. So from here, we could just add sidechain. So for that, we're going to use kickstart. Let's set it to the second one and move it to the left. Let's copy and paste this. And this is how the track sounds like with post-processing. And that's the backbone of Chris Lorenzo's signature bassline. From the gritty texture to the swung rhythms and low end that moves. If this sparks some ideas, hit like, hit subscribe, and let me know what you want next. If you're after that sound, please check our new sample pack, Takeoff. The link is in the description. It's loaded with everything you need to lay his style. I appreciate you guys for watching and see you guys next time. Bye!